Oh, sweet souls, if I could bottle the last golden hour of that crisp September evening in our Evanston bungalow, the lake breeze rustling, the curtains like a lover's whisper, carry in, the scent of deep dish pizza fresh from the oven and my son Ryan's triumphant laugh as he nailed his first pitch, I'd sip it slow now, savoring the warmth before the cold shoulder turned to ice that left me huddling on the L platform, cardboard sign in hand, begging for quarters from strangers who once called me neighbor. But I can't. Instead, I'm murmuring this from a drafty SRO room that smells like stale coffee and shattered dreams, staring at a crumpled startup prospectus with Ryan's scrawl, "Ma's belief made this," and wondering how the boy I remortgaged my life for could pin the crash on my bad luck, packin' for LA's sun without a shadow of guilt. You see, I'm Fiona Finn O'Connor, a 59-year-old widow from Chicago's North Shore, where the suburbs cling to Lake Michigan like old habits, and family means passin' the Malort shot at block parties even when it burns going down. Back then, after Tom's aneurysm dropped him cold in the garage mid-project, leaving me with a half-fixed Chevy and a heart full of, why not me, Ryan was my horizon, 32 with his daddy's red hair and that fire in his green eyes that said, world, watch out. Our two-flat on Green Bay Road was our fortress, creaky stairs echoing our late-night brainstorms, a kitchen where we'd map his app empire over Giordano slices, the L train screaming, passed like applause for his hustle. Evanston's that kind of town, bike paths wind in, to Northwestern's Ivy, dive bars like the Keg where locals swap tales of Cubs heartbreaks, and diners serving omelets that stick to your ribs. Ryan was my phoenix after the ashes, Tom's gone triggering my own midlife quake, hot flashes hittin' like L stops, therapy where I'd quip, after 50, it's not hot, it's my inner inferno fightin' back. Fightin'. I'd shelve at the library by day, freelance editin' nights, but for Ryan's Connect Hub, an app linkin' gig workers over coffee chats, I remortgaged the flat we'd scraped for, signin' with Tom's ghost smilin' approval. For the win, Finn, I'd say, clinkin' mugs, his excitement bubblin' like the lake in a storm. Those days shimmered like fool's gold, highs soarin', high enough to forget the fool's part waitin' in the wings. Ryan's startup was his heartbeat, hatched in our basement with his buddy Alex, codin' till dawn over Red Bull and ramen. I'd clip articles from the Tribune for his pitches, iron his founder tease, quip pin over and sather cinnamon rolls, if it flops, we'll flip houses, O'Connor originals. He'd roar, that red hair flop pin, and we'd stroll the lakefront, gulls cryin' overhead, dreamin' of his exit strategy talkin' us to Napa. Neighbors like Mr. Vasquez downstairs, Cuban expat with his cafecito wisdom, joined for poker nights, cards slap pin the table as he toasted, to Finn's boy, Chicago's next unicorn. Unicorn. I believed, beamin' at his beta launch party in a rented loft, apps downloadin', steady, investors nibblin'. Subplots stitched the joy, my post, 50 redesign flowin', a blog on midlife hacks goin' viral with quips like menopause. Nature's way of sayin' no more bullshit meetings, drawin' comments from women like me navigatin' empty nests. Health scares wove raw, a routine mamo tenin' to biopsy, waitin', room dread easin', to relief, doc huggin' me, your grit got you here, Finn. Grit. I'd joke with Ryan over Portillo's Italian beef, cancer scare? Just trainin' for your startup's roller coaster. He'd squeeze my arm, Ma, you're the real CEO. CEO. Tom would have chuckled, his memory in the garage tools still rusty from his last tinker. My sister Nora in Milwaukee called monthly, her voice warm with her own widow woes, he's got your fire, sis, don't let it burn you out. Burn. Out. The subtle tensions hinted early, Ryan's calls from meetings laced with Becca's input, the girl from his investor circle, sleek as a magnificent mile mannequin with her Yale polish and venture capital whispers. She's all in, ma, sees the LA potential. Potential. I nodded, but the draft chilled, the remortgage papers in the safe deposit box feeling heavier, like a promise with fine print. As winter gripped with its gray grip, the warmth lingered in stolen moments. A block party where Ryan demoed the app on the community grill, folks pairing, gigs over hot dogs, me serving, pie with a wink, Connect Hub, now with dessert. Harold, the library board chair with his salt and pepper beard and stories of Salem, the lake, toasted beside me, to Finn O'Connor, the wind beneath his wings. Wings. Second chance sparks flew over post-party walks, him quip pin, datin after 50. Like his app, beta testin' for the win. Win. But Ryan's pitches escalated, Becca's name droppin' like confetti, she's scoutin', LA Angels, says Chicago's too small. Small. The hint of selfishness simmered, suspense buildin', quiet as a snowball in July. My grandparentin' dreams? None yet, but visions of future story time with his kids kept the hope afloat. Health checkups lightened with humor, hot flashes. Prep for LA heat, I'd tell the doc, but resilience dug deep, volunteering at the women's shelter where tales of sidelined moms mirrored my whispers. Nora's subplot added layers, her visit after a hip scare, huggin' me tight, sis, kids chase stars, don't eclipse yours. Eclipse. Ryan's next drop-in, app metrics glowing on his laptop, Becca on Zoom from a coast call, Finn, love the blog, Ryan's my rock, thanks to you. Rock. But her gaze flicked to the mantel clock, the high of his hug crashin' into low when he dashed, VC dinner, Becca's treatin'. Treatin'. Without me. As snow blanketed the lakefront paths, I pressed on, blog posts pillin' followers with quips like, remortgagin' for dreams? Hope it's not a house of cards. Cards. But in the hush of night, starin' at the safe deposit key, doubt anchored. What if his LA sun melted our Chicago bond? The storm gathered slow, highs of his voice notes crashin' into lows of dodged plans, the foundation groanin' under the weight I'd carried so long. The first fissure ran deep and silent, like a crack in the bungalow's plaster after a lake-effect squall, revealin' itself on a foggy November mornin', when the Chicago wind howled off the water, rattlin' the windows like accusations I wasn't ready to face. I'd just finished a double shift at the library, dusty stacks of self-help books mockin' my own unread boundaries for dummies, my hot flashes leavin' me damp under the wool cardigan, when Ryan's email pinged on my ancient laptop, ma, pitch crushed it. Series A in sight. Becca's Scoutin' co-founders. Crushed. The word thrilled, and I typed back fingers flyin', my boy. Deep dish to celebrate? His reply landed quick but clipped, sushi downtown, investors love it. Love ya. Love. It echoed warm, but the investors lingered, a subtle shift from family feasts to boardroom bites. I busied with laundry, foldin' his old college tees with care, but the crack was there, doubt seep in like fog through the storm door. Becca, the venture vixen with her sleek ponytail and Stanford swagger, the one who'd networked her way into his orbit at a Techstars mixer, her influence was woven tight. She's the accelerator, ma, Ryan gush on calls, voice edged with that startup high. Accelerator. Not anchor. Those doubts burrowed deeper, personal struggles stacking like eviction notices in a bad dream. ChiConnect was acceleratin', beta users lovin', the gig match feature, Ryan's demos landin', soft commitments, but the remortgage bit hard, payments eaten, my freelance edits and library overtime like a bear in hibernation. I'd quip over Folgers at the corner diner with Mrs. Kowalski, my Polish neighbor with her babka recipes and bingo tales, Zieko, Sons chase unicorns, don't let 'em trample your garden. Trample. But mine? Wilton. Health threads pulled raw, a flare-up of migraines from the stress, doc prescribin yoga with a chuckle, after 50, it's not pain, it's your body demandin' a sabbatical, Finn. Sabbatical. I'd laugh, but vulnerability crept in nights alone, Tom's armchair empty, whisperin' to the shadows, he'll swing by Sunday. Sunday. The selfishness unfurled in layers. Ryan's quick visits, now tag-teamed with Becca, her laptop open on the kitchen table, eyes scanning my fridge magnets like relics. Cute setup, Finn, Ryan says you remortgaged for this? Cute. Code for quaint, her gaze upraising, the mantle like a flipper iron prophet. I'd smile, pouring malort shots for laughs, but inside, the foundation quivered, suspense building, quiet as a snowball fight tenant sour. Subplots tangled the hurt. Priya, Mrs. Kowalski's niece from her Naperville days, fresh off a tech layoff, became my walk-in buddy along the lakefront, her stories of ambitious exes mirroring mine. They call it drive, auntie, but it's desertion with a LinkedIn profile. Desertion. Becca's drive subplot peeled back in Priya's circles. Her own dad, a failed entrepreneur who'd sacrificed family for the grind, leaving her vowing no anchors. Anchors. Me. The high of Ryan's app featuring cranes, me framing the clip next to Tom's photo, crashed into low when he bailed on my birthday brunch, VC roadshow, rain check with cake? Rain. Check. I'd quipped to Harold over pierogi at the diner, his fork pow sin, datin after 50. Like his startup, high risk, higher reward if you pivot. Pivot. But the betrayal nuanced, not malice, but ambition's tunnel vision, Ryan's fear of Tom's shadow, the steady loser, driving him to cut loose ends. Late night voice note from him, Ma, what if I flop like dad? Flop. The word haunted, my remortgage docs in the nightstand feelin' like a noose. Suspense tightened in the gaps, twists slippin', sly. One blustery February night, insomnia sent me to the basement, app prototypes gatherin' dust, when I stumbled on Becca's forgotten notebook, pages of pros/cons, Finn's involvement. Pros, supportive. Cons, clingy, remortgage guilt trip. Guilt. Trip. The find wrenched a gasp, me crumplin' to the concrete, sobs echoing off the water heater, glimmers of strength flashin' like faulty fluorescence, my blog post goin' viral on midlife pivots, comments from women like me, Finn, you're my armor. Armor. Harold proposed over Lake Perch at his boat club, ring glintin' under string lights, marry me, Finn, no pivots, just us. Us. Joy tangled with grief, yes bubblin' up as I hugged him, humor sparkin', at our age, it's not I do, it's I do over, Do over. But the shadow lengthened, Ryan's Series A tease, champagne virtual with Becca's toast, to Finn, the OG investor. OG. But the call cut short, LA Scout Callan, got a jet. Jet. Without me. The crack gaped, highs of blog collabs crashin' into lows of banks, delinquency, letter, Mrs. Kowalski catchin' me weepin' on the stoop, Zieco, fight, therapy's your lifeline. Lifeline. I dove in, unpackin' the widow's void, quips cuttin' sharp, remortgagin' for love. Hope it's not a bust. Bust. As spring teased with tulips along the paths, Ryan's text landed, Ma, Tankin, bad luck with the market. Becca says pivot to LA. Pivot. To where? The foundation groaned, selfishness rootin' deep, her overheard snippet on speaker, Finn's sweet, but needy, after the crash, cut ties for fresh start. Fresh. Start. Without roots. The turmoil simmered, my quips tinnin, rye over diner eggs, startups and sons, both promise the moon, deliver meteors. The rupture roared in on a sleety April evening, the Chicago sky unleashing a gale that lashed the bungalow windows like Tom's ghost demanding answers, the L train screechin' past in harmony with my unravelin' world. I just wrapped a blog live session, midlife mamas sharin', pivot stories, over Zoom, my quip on, hot flashes as startup fuel, drawin' laughs, when Ryan burst through the door, face ashen as lake fog, laptop under arm like a shield. Ma, it's over. The app tanked. Tanked. The word hit like a southbound express, and I pulled him to the kitchen table, deep dish cold from lunch but comfort all the same. Tell me, kiddo, servers crash? He collapsed in the chair, red hair disheveled, voice crackin', investors pulled. Becca says bad luck, market timmin'. We remortgaged for nothin'. Nothin'. The blame landed soft but sharp, my remortgage the scapegoat, highs of his earlier, pivot to LA, texts crashin' into this gut-wrench low. Bad luck? I echoed, hand on his, but his eyes flicked away. Ma, you're Timon, the papers signed right before the dip. Timon. Mine. Tears pricked, but I swallowed, servin' coffee strong as my spine, will rebound, Ryan, O'Connor's always do. Rebound. But Becca called then, voice cool over speaker, Finn, it's Finn, Ryan's wrecked. The luck thing? Just stress talk. Stress. Talk. The line died, leaving silence thicker than the sleet. From there, the break-in, point-barreled forward, conflicts a skeleton like a CTA delay tenon to derailment. The startup's autopsy unfolded in frantic calls, Alex Belan, for a rival, users ghostin', but Ryan's blame lingered, subtle as lake humidity. Ma, if we'd waited on the mortgage. Waited. For what? My endless shifts. Emotional stakes soared, Harold's proposal ring burnin' in my pocket, our lakefront dates shadowed by my silences. Marry me anyway, Finn, he'd urge over perch at his club, wind whippin' the sails, let's chart our course. Course. I wanted to, quip pin, back, after 50, it's not sailin', it's navigatin', storms with a wink. Wink. But the storm raged, eviction notice slippin' under the door, banks, foreclosure imminent, in red ink, my freelance gigs not coverin' the gap. Subplots twisted the knife. Priya's layoff mirrorin' mine, her cryin' over chai, ambition blinds, my ex blamed my neediness for his flop. Neediness. Becca's, or mine. Priya uncovered her subplot, Becca's dad, a VC who sacrificed family for deals, leavin' her vowin' no dead weights. Weights. Me. The high of a blog collab with a menopause guru, Finn's fire, from flashes to freedom, crashed into low when Ryan snapped over phone, Ma, your posts? Distractin', Becca says focus on the reboot. Reboot. Without me. Heart-wrenching, scenes stacked like unpaid bills, Memorial Day brunch, me settin', the table for three, Ryan, Becca, me, the lake sparklin' outside, tulips bloomin' defiant. They arrived late, her in Lululemon, him rumpled, traffic, investor brunch. Brunch. Not ours. As we ate, Becca's laptop flipped open, Finn, love the blog, but Ryan needs space for the pivot. Space. The word ignited, fork clatterin', space. I remortgaged for his dreams, now it's bad luck. Tears hot, Ryan flinchin', Ma, it's not, but she cut in, voice velvet over steel, Finn, it's business, you're Timon, hurt. Boundaries for the new start. Boundaries. The label stuck, room stillin', Harold's call interruptin' from the road, Finn? You okay? Okay. Lie. The high of Priya's visit, her huggin' me tight, you're not wait, your wings, soured as Ryan's text landed, Ma, LA Scout serious, Becca's pushin'. Sell the flat? Sell. The stake plunged, turmoil crestin' at the foreclosure auction tease, bank's letter stark on the mantle. Mrs. Kowalski caught me sobbin' on the stoop, Zieko, fight, therapy's your anchor. Anchor. I dove deeper, unpackin' the widow's void, quips sharp, remortgagin' for love. Hope it's not foreclosin' on my heart. Heart. As summer sweltered with block party prep, Ryan's reboot meetin' canceled our planned Cubs game, VC's in town, rain check with popcorn? Rain. Check. The crack gaped, highs of blog milestones crashin' into lows of eviction court date circled red, Becca's overheard snippet on speaker, Finn's sweet, but needy, after LA, cut the cord for fresh air. Fresh. Air. Without oxygen. The break-in point loomed, my quips tinnin', rye over diner hash, startups and sons, both promise gold, deliver lead. Solitude slithered in like the lake fog on a November dawn, thick and cloying, tinnin' the bungalow from sanctuary to sepulchre on a day when the L rumbled past empty, echoing the hollow in my chest. I'd woken to the foreclosure stamp on the door, red ink like blood on the eviction notice, the bank's immediate possession, season, the flat I'd remortgaged for Ryan's folly. My hands shook foldin', Tom's old flannel, the one he'd worn for garage tinkers, arthritis flarin', fiercer than the wind off the water, when the phone buzzed, Ryan, voice cracklin', from LA, Ma? Becca says sell fast, new start out here. New. Start. The word gutted, tears saltin' the fabric, the house creakin', it's goodbye. Sell? This is home, son, you're home. Pause, her murmurin' back, Finn, it's business, the luck thing? Past tense. Past. Tense. The line died, leaving silence louder than the L. The descent spiraled, despair's tendrils wrapped pin tight with every unanswered knock, every for sale sign staked in the lawn like a grave marker. Ryan's reboot in LA bloomed, him landin' a gig at a startup incubator, Becca's VC connections pavin' gold, but my world crumbled, packin' boxes labeled Finn's junk while Priya helped, her tears mix in with mine, Auntie, this ain't luck, it's leavin', Leavin'. The label evolved to abandonment, her subplot twistin', Becca's fresh air born from her dad's crash, a startup bust that bankrupted the family, leavin' her vowin' no sentimental anchors. Anchors. Me. The high of a blog series on, evicted but empowered, readers floodin' with, Finn, you're my midlife muse, crashed into low when the auction loomed, bidders eyeing my mantle like vultures. Health betrayed ruthless, migraines a skeleton, to cluster headaches, ER lights blarin', as Doc warned, stress'll bury you, Finn, therapy's your buoy. Buoy. I clung, sessions unpackin' the widow's loneliness, quips cuttin', rye, remortgagin' for love. Hope it's not foreclosin' on my sanity. Sanity. Harold stepped steady, drivin' me to Vi-Win Apartments, his hand warm, SRO's temporary, Finn, marry me, we'll flip a flat together. Together. Joy flickered, second chance humor spark in, at 59, it's not, I do, it's, I do over with interest. Interest. But the shadow engulfed, Ryan's LA postcard Erevan, glossy of him and Becca at a beach bonfire, no grandkid yet but, soon, the back blank save, missin', Chicago, kinda. Suspense choked in the voids, twists dart in, sly as alley cats. One blustery May night, insomnia herded me to the basement, startup relics gathering dust, when I unearthed Becca's discarded notebook, pages of thin file, pros, supportive investor. Cons, needy, guilt over mortgage, boundaries needed post-LA. Guilt. Needed. The revelation wrenched a wail, me sliding down the washer, sobs racking as the L rumbled overhead, glimmers of strength flashing like signal lights, my blog pivoting to evicted elders, collabs with shelter moms, their stories my salve, Finn, you're our North Star, sidelined but Sherneen. Sherneen. Harold proposed proper over Navy Pier fireworks, rings sparkin like the display, no more solos, Finn, our voyage. Voyage. Hope warred with hurt, yes breathing out as I hugged him, quip soft, after 50, it's not sailing, it's steering through the squalls. Squalls. But the shadow lengthened, Ryan's success call, voice triumphant, ma, incubator spot, Becca's glowing. Send the flat keys. Keys. The stakes sank, turmoil cresting at the auction, bidders swarm in the living room, my mantle stripped, Priya holding me as the gavel fell, sold. Sold. The high of a shelter volunteer gig, teaching resume workshops, quips like eviction. Just a plot twist in your comeback story, soured as Ryan's text landed, congrats on the sale, LA's Callan. Love from the coast. Coast. Without harbor. Mrs. Kowalski wept with me on the stoop, Zieko, fight, your blog's your sword. Sword. I swung, posts viral with, from foreclosure to freedom, but the isolation peaked June, SRO bed narrow as my world, phone silent save bill collectors. Becca's overheard snippet on a mutual call, Finn's sweet, but bad luck charm, after LA, no more ties. Ties. Cut. The nadir, 4th of July alone on the L, fireworks booming, distant, my quip to a stranger beggar, startups and sons, both explode, leave you in the smoke. Smoke. But resilience pulsed faint, volunteering Leodin to a podcast guest spot, midlife Mayday, where women cheered, Finn, you're our rally cry. Rally. Cry. If these shadows have you sear chin for your light, dears, like to illuminate the way. Subscribe for the echoes Callan, bell on so the silence doesn't echo alone. To the final gust. The echoes thundered in like a CTA rush hour, cruising the air from my lungs on a sweltering July 4th when the Chicago sky erupted in red, white and blue bursts, celebrating freedom I no longer owned, the SRO room's fan whirring futile against the heat that matched the burn in my chest. I'd been scrawling my blog comments, Finn, your eviction story saved me, when the door knocked, sharp as a gavel, and there stood Ryan, suitcase in hand from LA, face gaunt as the foreclosure sign that once staked my lawn. Ma. Becca sent me, says we need to talk. Talk. The word hung, and I stepped aside, the room's stale air thick with unspoken blame, my heart hammering like the L overhead. Talk? Or tie up loose ends, son? He flinched, dropping the bag, the startup prospectus spilling out like guts. Ma, the app's dead, investors fled, Becca's blammin' the luck. But I see it now, your sacrifice. I blamed you to cope. Cope. The confession cracked the dam, tears flooding as I pulled him to the sag-gin bed, blame? I remortgaged for your fire, not the fallout. Fallout. His sobs joined mine, subplot unraveling, Becca's dad flopped too, left her penniless, so she cut anchors to swim. I followed, blind. Blind. To me. The climax surged from there, confrontations crashing like waves on Navy Pier. Ryan stayed the week, unpacking boxes of my life, Tom's tools, blog awards, his guilt pouring out over Giordano's delivered to the room, ma, LA's hollow without you, the bad luck? My fear of being, Tom 2.0. Tom 2.0, the high of his hug, first in months, tangled with rage, fear? I gave the flat for your flight, not the fall. Fall. We called Becca on speaker, her voice crackling from the coast. Finn, Ryan's home, good. The luck thing? Stress. But boundaries. Boundaries. The label ignited, my voice steely. Boundaries or bars, Becca? I was your anchor too, now I'm begging on the L. Pause, her crack, my dad left us broke, didn't want that for us. Us. Without me. Ryan's turn, babe, Finn's the start, LA without her's empty. Empty. The line held, tears shared across wires, redemption's thread pulling, taut. Closure wove bittersweet, reflections rising like mist off the lake. Ryan drove me to Viwin co-ops, his arms steady, ma, will co-sign, your empire, not mine. Empire. I nodded, forgiveness with boundaries, love you, but no more luck, presence or peace. Peace. The echoes softened, blog tour in Milwaukee with Nora, her hugging me, sis, you're the comeback queen. Queen. Harold and I wed lakeside, simple as deep dish, his vow, no pivots, Finn, just us. Us. Becca's apology call came, grandbaby on the way, Finn, teach me boundaries that build. Build. The poignant regret lingered, ghosts of the L banished, but lessons carved, love's not debt, it's the pivot that powers you after 50. Oh, my dears, as I gaze out this co-op window at the lake's endless roll, waves crashing like the regrets I once drowned in, I've learned the bittersweet truth that family ain't the investment that pays dividends, it's the risk that reshapes you, stronger for the fall. I remortgaged my heart for Ryan's startup fire, navigating widow's fog and hot flashes that felt like failure's fever, only to hear bad luck from the boy I bankrolled, his ambition and Becca's scars from a dad's flop tenon, my love to liability. But here's the pearl from these weathered years, practical as a pivot plan. After 50, resilience ain't ignorant, the crash. It's therapy as your toolkit, hammering boundaries that say, love me whole or walk the plank. To the Ryans chasing LA lights, pause at the runway, your ma's the runway, not the baggage, blame's a crutch, gratitude the wings. To the Beccas haunted by yesterfails, no scars scar others if unchecked, let anchors lift, not drag. And to my fellow Finns, evicted or eclipsed, remember, Agan is reinvention, not retirement, blog that pain into power, date with a wink and no warranties, volunteer where midlife mamas mend each other. Forgiveness? With receipts, reconcile, but reclaim your portfolio. Sacrifices echo in the empty, but quiet hope replies, you're not the bust, you're the buyout. Sail on, sisters, your horizon's yours. Phew, if Finn's echoes rang true in your bones, share your own bad luck, turn around below, what pivot saved you? Your tales turn the tide. Like if it landed, subscribe for more midlife murmurs, and hit the bell so no shoulder stays cold. Shares spark the comebacks, tag a Finn who needs it. Next, a grandma's heirlooms stolen by her own blood, betrayals that'll sting and sting true. Thanks for riding the rails with me, kin, keep pivotin'. See you on the line.